So I haven't done a tutorial in forever, and it really shows in this one, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm kind of just getting used to this new setup and new camera placement and just kind of getting used to everything. So what I did was just a really, really glammed up fall type look. I used golds and coppers and reds and some black because I always use black. But yeah, I hope you guys like it, and it's just sort of my first like tutorial coming back, and I hope you guys like it. So I'll just jump right in. Okay, first things first, and this is really important, is using a lid primer. I'm using Smashbox. It's a photo finish lid primer. It's one of my favorites, and I want to make sure I get it on my lid and underneath because you're putting pigment everywhere like that. Okay, next I'm taking a just a small brush, and I'm using a it's supposed to be a glitter glue by Hard Candy. It's called Showgirl Secret glitter glue. I'm just kind of using that as a mixing medium for the pigments, and I'm taking the copper color from BH Cosmetics. I got it as a sample. I'm not sure what the actual name of it is. I'll have to look it up. I'll put it on the information thing underneath. So I'm just going to take this brush and I'm going to go really, really slow with the color. I got the brush wet and then dipped it into the pigment. And it's a really pretty pigment, but you want to be really careful because it will have fallout. And I still tap it even though I know it's wet. It's just a habit. I'm going to take it all the way on the inner corner and obviously get it on my nose. Underneath as well. Then I'm going to go about there with it. Don't worry about any sharp lines or anything like that because, well, we're going to blend that all out later. So I'm just going to keep building this and going slightly above the crease. And again, you're going to blend that out later so you don't really have to worry about it being too messy. To about there on my eye. You can take it as far as you want, but I want to make sure that this color is really saturated on the lid. Because what I've noticed with these pigments is as they dry, they tend to start flaking off. So I definitely don't want that. And of course, you touch up later. You always touch up. I feel like that's all I did during this is touch up, touch up. Next, I'm taking Goldilux. It's by SugarPill. It's another loose pigment. It's very, very golden. I put a little bit of a drop of that mixing medium in the lid, and now I'm just mixing it with some of the pigment. You want it to be like a paste. Not too dry, not too wet. I'm using a different brush for this. I like that. It's kind of like a gold powder. This is going to be extremely strong compared to the copper. So what I'm going to do is instead of painting it on, I'm just going to dab it to about there. And now I'm just going to play the back and forth game. I'm taking the other brush with the copper, getting some of that copper pigment on it, and going back over the gold. The gold still shines through, but I don't want there to be this huge harsh line between the copper and the gold. So I'm kind of just blending it. And then lightly dabbing. I don't want the gold to overpower the copper. The copper is supposed to be the main character in this show. I know it looks crazy messy, but I swear, it's gonna get fixed. If you go too far, like I did, what I like to do is take a makeup remover. This one's probably not the best to use because it's oil-based, and that's gonna leave film. but I'm just going to have to try and keep that from getting too bad. And I'll dip a Q-tip, pointed one in it, try not to get too much on it. And then just kind of come in and roll it as you take it off, because otherwise it's gonna smear. And then I just flip it over to the dry side and kind of just clean it up a little. That's better. Now I'm going to take a blending brush. You can take any blending brush you want, it doesn't matter which one. And I'm taking my BH 120 palette. It's, I believe, the first edition or third. I'm not positive. And I'm going to take this red. It's kind of a maroon color. It's not really a bright red, but it's not too dark. It's almost got a pink undertone to it. And I'm just getting the slightest bit onto my brush, and I'm making sure I'm tapping it out. I don't want a lot of excess. And I'm going into this outer corner here and gently putting it in the corner, but I don't want it into the top here. It's not really my crease, because the crease is slightly lower than that. So I'm putting it just slightly, basically above the line that you made with the eyeshadow. And being really light-handed. I don't want a lot of red. I just want it to peek through. I got more black on this side than the red, so I don't want a ton. Now I'm going to take same BH palette, same top row. I'm taking this shimmery black right here, and again I'm just putting it on that same brush. I'm tapping it off very much. I don't want a lot of it. I just want the smokiness. And then of course if you get too much, you can always just clean off the brush and use it to just blend it out. Okay, now I'm going to take a pencil brush, make sure it's clean, get that same red as before, tap it off, and just come in underneath your lashes and just kind of dab it there. And it actually blends in with the copper really well. I noticed that a lot on this side. You want the peak of red, because I think coppers and golds and reds, it's really what reminds me of fall the most. Leaves changing and colors like that. It's very fall to me. Since I went a little too high up here, I'm going to take it's kind of like a, I don't know what they call this. They call it an angled contour brush. This is by E.L.F. It's one of their studio brushes. I'm going to get a white eyeshadow. You can use a skin toned one. It doesn't really matter. Just one that you use as a highlighting. And I'm going to take it and sort of buff that color down a little bit. Blends it out a little more and also helps it define your brow bone. So you just kind of have to play with it and kind of get it. I always have the biggest problem getting one eye to match the other, and I don't know why, but I always seem to do better on one side than I do the other. So you're just gonna have to play with it a little bit until you get it to right where you want it. I'm using a 24/7 eyeliner. It's by BH Cosmetics. It's their big marker pen. I like it, but the only thing I noticed with this is you really have to go really slow and take your time with it, because it tends to break up. Like, it'll drag and leave drag marks. You really gotta go slow. So I'm just gonna start right at my lash line. Don't worry about doing the wing yet. I always just kind of form that last, but I want to stay as close to my lash line as I can. And I'm just doing really small little strokes. Start with the wing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off the line that I already made and just pick it up and come out. And just kind of eyeball it. Make sure it's even. And then I'm going to come down lower, right where my eyelashes start to go down, and I'm going to go right into that corner and come up. Into that little peak I already made. And then I'm going to come to my my lower lash line, right at the outer corner. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm going to come to the right at the outer corner and go right into that line. It wants to cooperate. It doesn't seem like it wants to. Seems like it's drying out a little bit. I haven't had this very long, but I haven't really been committed to it. So I'm going to switch to the telescopic L'Oreal one. It's a little more liquidy, so you want to be a little careful with it. This tends to spread rather easily. It's got a marker tip to it too, so it's kind of the same idea. Just go slow. Take your time. Be really light-handed with it. And touch up this side a little bit, make it a little darker. But when you use real liquidy eyeliners with these kind of brushes, you should really want to be careful. And I went thicker with this line. I thought it fit a little better. If you don't like it that way, of course you can do your eyeliner the way you want to. That's completely up to you. Now, remember before when I said I had to touch up? Yeah, definitely want to touch up on this side. Some of the copper came off while I was blending. So I'm just going to take that same brush. It's damp still. So I've just got some more pigment on it, and I'm just dabbing. Dabbing where it's a little sparse. You don't want to really... You want to try to avoid getting it on the eyeliner, but if you do, it's not a big deal. You can just go over it with the eyeliner. Sometimes it just takes a while. I'm going to do the same with the gold. It just takes a while to get it right where you want. Okay. Now, I'm going to take a Wet n Wild Color Icon black eyeliner pencil, just a regular stick eyeliner pencil. You can use your favorite one. It really doesn't matter. And I'm just going to kind of push. I'm not pulling. I'm just keeping it steady. Just like that. I might have pulled a little bit, but don't jump all over me. Don't kill me. Sometimes it just happens. I should have done this first, and I didn't, and I wish I did, but one thing that I feel like you kind of have to do with this, especially if you have thinner eyebrows, I did it on this side, but not on this side. I'm going to color in my eyebrows because this is a really strong look, and if you have sparse eyebrows, it's going to just wash you out. So I'm going to take that pencil brush, the other end is a spoolie, and I'm taking just a brown eyeshadow that's close to my color, but it's slightly darker. I like to use eyeshadow for this because it tends to look a little more natural, and you can blend it out easier. I don't really like using pencils. So I'm just going to start on the inner part of my eyebrow and work my way out, and I'm just going to use small feathery strokes. It can look super, super dark like that, but that's where the other end comes in. You just take it and just kind of comb it out. And this helps it blend, which is exactly why I like using the eyeshadow. Like that. This one needs touched up a little bit. And you always have to remember that your eyebrows are never going to be identical. I have more of an arch in this one than I do in this one. But I just live with it because I've tried to get them to match perfectly and they just won't. And sometimes you just don't have perfectly identical eyebrows, which is fine. I'm going to take a gel. It's a brow gel. It's like the same idea for your hair. It just kind of helps hold everything in, keeps things neat. You don't need a whole heck of a lot, just a tiny, tiny bit. And it holds your eyebrows in shape. Keeps them neat. I'm getting used to these bangs. Okay, so that is it for the eyes. Now we're going to move on to the face. So, my face looks really, 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 really white with this whole scheme of things I got going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to counteract that a little bit. I have a really rosy blush and I don't want to overdo it at all. So to keep from overdoing it, I'm using a stippling brush, just getting the color on there like that, and I'm just going to sit here and tap. And you can see there's tons excess coming off. So I still have color on there, but not a whole bunch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to smile, and I'm just really, really lightly with the lightest hand, just on my cheeks. And up towards my temple. I've noticed one thing, you've probably heard it a billion times, but you should always start small and gradually build up, and that is very, very true, because the worst thing is when you get tons of blush all the way up and you have this big pink streaks. It's not good. I don't need a whole lot because I'm naturally very rosy when I laugh and I have a good time and I get really, really pink. So I don't need a whole lot. I just wanted to add a little color to my face. A lot of this whiteness that I'm getting, it has to do with my lighting. I'm working on it. This is what I've got for right now, so I just kind of have to deal with it. For the lips, I'm going to be using two different lip glosses. I don't want to do anything too bold because the eyes are really, really bold. And yeah, don't want too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a hard candy one. It's called Scoop. It's really, really, really flesh toned. It's just this neutral, bland lip gloss. And since to me that's just too plain, it's just too sheer, I think it makes me look, really pale. I'm going to add this. It's E.L.F. in Va Va Voom. I really like mixing colors like this, because this gives more of a, this would have been too red on its own, but mixed with the other one toned it down, it looks more of a natural lip color. Like this could just be regular lips with some gloss, but I really like the way that it turned out. So, oh my gosh, I forgot to do mascara. You can tell it's been a while since I've done this. So, I'm probably just going to curl my lashes. I'll tell you which ones I use. These are my two most natural looking mascaras. I like to use, this is by, oh, who did this? Wet n Wild. This was their version of the mascara that started coming out a while ago that was supposed to help your eyelashes grow. I don't know if I tried it and I didn't really see a difference. So I can't contest whether or not, I mean, I didn't see a difference, but you know, somebody else might have. Maybe it's just my eyes, I don't know. I really like it because when you pull it out, there's not a ton of mascara on the one, and it really doesn't clump that much. It looks really, really natural, and for me, I like that. But I don't like it on the lower lashes because it tends to clump there for some reason. I don't know. So I use this, I think this is by Maybelline? L'Oreal, my bad. It's a telescopic, one of these ones with, it's just like a ball. I like these for lower lashes. It doesn't really matter what brand, what kind. The little ball on the end is great for lower lash lines. So that's pretty much it. I hope you liked it, and there'll be pictures on my blog, and I'll have a list of products that I used. So that's about it. I'll see you next time.